obviously been a music panel, we do have an encore. Geraint Davies MP is going to speak to us now about something we've discussed, the possibility of legislation and that kind of thing.
Yeah, and thanks so much. And can I thank you so warmly for such a fantastic array of insights and information about the music industry. And what I'm here to do is to say I want to commit to take this conversation with you forward to a Cooperative Music Bill. I've spoken before with Sarah and Rose, and that's why I'm here now. Clearly there's major problems. Why we're here together in this conference, incidentally, is because the Rochdale pioneers had adulterated food, and they got together and they decided they wanted the right, conditions for the consumer, for the producer, for the retailer, and that's what we need in the music industry. Because the reality is, if you are a young artist and you get 1 million streams, and I'd be very keen to get 1,000 streams, frankly, you get 100 quid. And what are you going to do with 100 quid? You buy lunch and get your travel and hire a studio. You're lucky to get that, aren't you? And so we've had the pandemic, haven't we? So again, it's been a big problem for artists. We've got the cost of living crisis now. We're hoping that artists would go out and do live gigs. People can't afford it. And we've had Brexit. So clearly people can't do touring, and we aren't getting these protections. And in terms of streaming, it's just not fair. So we know that there are all these problems that are being described. That 8 out of 10 people get less than £200 a year in income, whilst the CEO of Universal, of course, gets £153 million in a year, which is more than all the artists combined and all the songwriters combined in the UK. And if you wanted to get that from streaming, I worked out you'd have to stream 1.5 million streams. And it works out actually that everybody in the world would have to stream nearly 200 times your record. So clearly there's something fundamentally wrong. Obviously, as has been mentioned, the Competitive Markets Authority is looking at some of that issue. But what we're talking about is the whole environment, the whole ecosystem of sort of atomized, enthusiastic and very vulnerable people who want to develop their talents, and it's not done in an equal way. It's siphoned out, often it's untaxed, it goes off, the exchequer doesn't get hold of it, let alone the artists. It is providing for the economy and jobs, as has been said. It is critical to our Britain's identity, from the Beatles, Stones, Adele, all the rest of it. And it is intrinsic to the happiness of all of us here and abroad, and we need clearly to deliver fairness and diversity. And what I want to say today, as I say, is to bring people together to provide the information and the guidance in a round table, then move forward to present a simple cooperative music bill in the first instance as a framework, with a view then to have something more detailed coming forward in the autumn. Obviously, we've got to be aware of vested interests because these huge multinationals aren't going to, as it's already been pointed out, they're not going to want to give more money or give more protection. But we want protection. We want to avoid exploitation. We want inclusion. We want diversity. We want stopping abuse, whether it's racial, sexual abuse. We want to nurture growth. And basically, there are opportunities. All of us are involved in co-ops, or the people in this room and beyond in co-ops. We need your support. We need your blessing. We need your involvement. If you run a retail store and we had a cooperative brands that were just playing cooperative, if you join the cooperative as an artist, you get more money, and that was supported in a retail store. So we know on a local basis, a region, say South Wales, Emma Jones or wherever it happens to be, you know that if you go in your cooperative, they'll be playing that music. More local people will go in that shop and buy more of our products. Local government should be supporting this. I wanted to put forward, and I am putting forward, a proposition in Swansea to have a sort of platform to compete with Amazon, where people can buy anything, get it delivered the next day by the Royal Mail, and the profits would go to local schools and social services, local government. We need to think about cooperative models to take on these huge multinational organisations to a certain extent that are basically sucking out the lifeblood and the money out of the industry. So what I'm getting at is we do need to map out all these ideas. There are organisations like the Cultural Freelancers Wales, which my daughter happens to be involved in. It was about creating communities of people who are in the industry, working together, helping each other. So in other words, we need an environment, a whole environment, and Victor and others have all talked about this, where creativity and diversity can flourish. And after all, if the whole industry, as has been said, can actually be more powerful through a sort of more cooperative as opposed to a sort of a more Darwinist approach, where we've got a sort of more fertile ground, more varieties of flowers can grow, and more oaks from small acorns can grow, then we can again be the best in the world and the best to grow and the fairest for the music for the future. So I'm committing to take that forward with your great knowledge and expertise to try and make a real difference in the regulatory area alongside what's been happening on the Competition Markets Authority. So thank you so much for everything you're doing and for your time today. Thank you.